Obviously, we are mainly known for our horizontal 5-axis machines. We thought it a natural thing to bring to our market a high quality 4-axis machine on the larger scale. With a 500mm pallet, rising up to an 800mm pallet.
So welcome to this week's MTD CNC podcast. I'm Paul Jones, the Managing Director and Founder of MTD. Today, it's a real privilege actually, today's podcast, because I'm here at the headquarters of Grob here in the UK, which is actually in Birmingham, right near the NEC. But it's this sort of second time we've been talking about Grob today, because earlier we were at Luff Engineering, a company that's just recently taken delivery of a G350 Grob horizontal 5-axis machine. So we're going to talk about that in today's podcast. I'm pleased to say that I'm joined by two gentlemen from Grob. One is Lewis Hill and the other is Paul Reeves. Welcome to the show, Lewis. We'll start with yourself. How are you doing? You okay?
Good afternoon, Paul. Yeah, fine, thank you. Yourself?
Yeah, very well, very well. Paul, obviously we've been with you all day today at Luff as well. You're obviously keeping well.
Yeah, I'm very good, thank you, Paul.
And excited to talk about the Grob machines on today's podcast.
Absolutely, yeah. Welcome to Grob.
Good. And we're going to be talking about some new products that have been launched as well during today's show. I'm also joined by Gio from MTD, and again, I've had the privilege of being with you all day as well
Paul,
today.
how you doing? All right?
Very good, thank you. Very good. So, gentlemen, we'll talk about the things that we are going to touch on. So, we'll talk about Luff, the installation of the machine. There is a great few videos that are coming to the channel very soon about that installation, but for people that prefer to listen to podcasts, we'll go into detail about that here today. We're also going to talk about the new range of 4-axis machines that are about to come to the market and the new 5-axis universal machining center, the G150. So that's all coming up in today's podcast. So firstly, Lewis, let's start with yourself talking about the Luff Engineering installation. Now, I've been with Paul this morning there, and it was really good to see a machine like a Grob machine in what I'd class as a general subcontract machine shop. This is something that's a bit of an ambition now for Grob, isn't it? It's something that you're really looking to expand upon here in the UK.
Yes, Paul. We're very, very proud to sell the machine into Luff Engineering. I tier supplier within the automotive industry, and this is one of our main focuses in Grob worldwide, but particularly Grob UK. We want to be known not just for OEM automotive and high level 5-axis machining. We have got a range of machines that are suitable and achievable financially for a number of different industries, and which has been shown today at Luff.
And that was really apparent in talking to the guys there, how they were blown away by the technology, and even more blown away by the price and the affordability of the machine. Paul, you got involved in the sale of the machine from the start, really. How did you go about convincing the guys there that actually it was an affordable product, or was it as easy as saying, look at the price tag?
Yeah, really, it was the price tag that was the driver for this. Jason had got a wish list of a Grob on his, a Grob machine was on his wish list of achievements to try and get. And then obviously when we discussed what he was looking to spend, budgets that were available. With Lewis's help, we found a machine that we could, do a deal on, and the rest, it just ran through really smoothly.
And I mean, Gio's always excitable, but this morning he was, at its max, really. When we were talking to Jason about the fact he'd already got 5-axis machines there on site, but with the new Grob machine, he was achieving far better machining results with that machine, wasn't he, than compared to his sort of traditional method of 5-axis machining. And we put that down to really the stability of that Grob machine with the horizontal spindle, the fact it's in that tunnel, all of those factors, wasn't it? It was quite impressive to hear.
I think it was brilliant visit this morning at Luff, and it was a different configuration 5th axis that we've seen at Brave, which was another fantastic story. But for me, Paul, I mean, he's achieving better surface finish now. better tool life longevity already, so he's making instant savings. He's got lots of different benefits than he's had before, and he's also got a twin pallet on this machine tool. Now, it's very rare, guys, isn't it, to see a fifth axis machine with a twin pallet. You've got lots of fifth axis machine tools in the marketplace, but to have that capacity and capability is another benefit.
Yeah, all of our 5-axis machines can be specified from new with obviously a single pallet, a twin pallet option, a multi-pallet option for one machine, or even a linear pallet system to connect multiple machines in. It was come from our design. It was always one of our key factors in designing the machine to make it automation friendly, and we've achieved that, and also we achieve that with our own products as well. So they're not third-party products all the time. We can integrate third-party products, but we can also sell Grob rotary systems, linear systems to suit all applications really.
And I thought it was great to go in there. When you looked beyond the Grob machine, there was a lot of used machinery in there, isn't there, Paul, that he's had for many, many years. So it must be great for Jason to walk in his machine shop now and be presented with something as kind of as sophisticated as what he's got there. And with the fact that he's been supported by you with a Siebel scheme as well, pretty much means he's got almost interest-free or free machining for a 12-month period, doesn't it? He can't really fail, can he?
No, that was one of the drivers as well. The machines that he got in there, one of the machines that he was putting a lot of the work through was letting him down. It was becoming unreliable. It was running up expensive repair bills, plus loss of production. So that was part of the justification that was put through with the finance company, that if he had this machine, he would be saving X amount in repair costs and downtime. And obviously it made the purchase of the new machine a much easier decision for him to press ahead with.
And even down to the installation, he said that was a massive success as well. You don't have to bolt these machines to the floor, do you? They're all kind of like in one, neatly packaged area. There's no accessories spilling out around the sides of the machine. So, it looked pretty tidy.
Yeah, I mean, all we needed from Jason was suitable air supply, suitable power supply. Our engineers put the machine into position, a little bit of left and right, and then, he was in production later that week.
I think this is a really good story, and I think this is a really good way of putting across. We've had done many videos and talked about machines, Grob machines, but I think this is the first one I've been into as an example, and I know there is a lot more, but the first one I've seen of someone that, has said to me, I didn't really think I'd be able to achieve what I've got here. So it's a really good result for you guys, and great for Luff as well. So let's look at these two products now. And Lewis, we'll come back to you. I want to talk about this 4-axis machining centre range because, again, from my experience, I've known Grob for a long time, the 5-axis machines in the automotive sector. But where's this machine going to fit, and what is the range? Could you elaborate?
Yeah, so obviously we are mainly known for our horizontal 5-axis machines. We thought it as a natural thing to bring to our market and our customers. A 4-axis range of machines as well, so high quality 4-axis machine on the larger scale, I guess. With the small machine currently would be a 500mm pallet, rising up to a 630mm pallet, and then an 800mm pallet on top of that.
And where's the market for these for you? When you look at where you're supplying machines at the moment, wouldn't someone just go, actually, I'd rather just go for a 5-axis instead of the 4, or is there a market specifically for that type of machine?
There still is a market for that particular type of machine, and there's a market for 4-axis machining supporting 5-axis machining. So obviously there is a price difference between 4 and 5-axis machines, and we are seeing a lot of high-end machining companies not always finishing the machine or not always roughing the parts out on a 5-axis machine. So they'll rough out on a 4-axis machine, transfer it to the 5-axis for the more finishing processes.
I suppose there's an argument to say, Lewis, that not everyone requires full 5th axis anyway, and I'm assuming that you're going to be having a larger Y-axis stroke on the 4th axis, so you can fixture it up with big columns, present more components to the spindle, and if you're doing that on a cube, you can do 6-sided work You do your three ops on one side, then you flip your part around and do your other three sides. So from a production perspective, you could be fixturing up that pallet to produce lots of parts and use it as a tombstone kind of setup.
Yeah, exactly. And there's many components that do not require, as you say, Gio, many components that still don't require 5-axis. So there's plenty of opportunities out there for a 4-axis machine in the market of a quality or from a quality brand.
And the Y-axis?
Yes, we've got a standard Y-axis, but we also can have, each machine comes with an option of getting an extended Y-axis again, so we can have a bigger tombstone on the B-axis and load more parts or longer parts potentially on the machine.
And now here's some facts that maybe our audience listening won't know, but really important to know that in Germany you have 180,000 square meter facility, I believe. It may have even grown since when I read that. I don't know, but supplying over 2,000 machines a year approximately into the global market. So that's some quantity. Employing 5,000 people, or just about 5,000 people in Germany. That says something about the heritage, and you're still a family-owned company as well, haven't you, since the early 20th century. That's there's a lot of skill sets within there to be able to develop and innovate a significant level, isn't there?
Correct. Obviously, we believe it's the largest machine tool facility in Europe in one facility, basically. But Grob being family owned, we're now in the third generation of the Grob family, and very, very forward thinking and very, very diverse. So when there's an opportunity arises, we can move very quickly to develop the products of the future, to deliver the product into the markets of the future, basically. One thing that I'd like to mention is the link with Grob and the automotive industry. We're very, very well known in the automotive machining industry and on internal combustion engine. But 10 years ago, the Grob board and family recognised that there was an onset of e-mobility coming. Internal combustion engine would be dropping considerably, and there'd be more motor assembly, electric drive unit assembly, and battery assembly. So we now offer a range of equipment and assembly equipment for that kind of market. So we can wind the motors of the future for the motor vehicle. We can build the batteries of the future for the motor vehicle, and also we're still pushing forward with technology and trying to develop production methods for hydrogen fuel cell. So Grob as a machine tool company, yes, but as a forward-thinking developer of technology for the new automotive industry, we're doing this as well.
And is that all happening in Germany, in the site that I talk about?
It is, yes, but it's rolled out. So we do all our development work in our plant in Germany, but then we roll that out to the plants worldwide. So e-mobility can be built in Germany, it can be built in the US, Brazil, China, and also our Italian plant as well, which looking purely at motor winding.
And Paul, you've been to the facility in Germany I talk about. I know your time at Grob has been less than Lewis's, but impressive, somewhere that people should go.
Absolutely, yeah. It's a mind-blowing facility, and we have the TAS Technical Centre there, which obviously is producing customer demos day in, day out, week in, week out. So yeah, it's certainly somewhere to get out and have a look at.
I'd like to go myself one day, guys. So yeah, keep me in mind, please.
Well, last March you guys were coming, but with the onset of this bloody pandemic, it didn't happen.
Well, you don't fly, do you?
Well, I think I'd make an effort. I could go by boat. I'm not sure.
You can drive.
I just want to go back to a point, really. You mentioned the automotive industry and your kind of relationship that you've got with most of the big OEMs. Now, your machine tool was designed for predominantly that sector, and now with the combustion engine kind of coming to its end at some point in the future, you will probably lose sales to that marketplace. However, you're bringing out these new products, and the 5-axis machine, which has been a proven machine within that sector, you've really found new markets. It lends itself to all other sectors, and with automation, how it's accelerated due to COVID, isn't there now a greater opportunity opportunity than ever before to really kind of get these machines out to lots of different sectors that maybe have not really been on your radar.
There is, yes, there's a big shift as well with the OEM not doing so much machining on ancillary parts within the engine and ancillary parts within the motor vehicle. So there's a big focus now on tier suppliers, tier 1, tier 2 suppliers, with regard to new technology of machining. So where there used to be A and B pillars of the car were pressings, they're now high pressure die castings which are machined. These high pressure die castings can be fairly sizable for 1.6 meters, 2 meter work pieces, and that kind of market needed a very agile, flexible machine, which was not so heavyweight because it was only doing trimming and punching of holes. So we've also developed a range for frame structure machining as well. So whereas our market may be changing, we're always developing the machines of the future to combat the change in those markets. So we do see a very good future for Grob in both machining and assembly.
And still looking at these the horizontals, we'll move on to the new G150 shortly. But the build of these new range of horizontals, does it fit into the same sort of mechanical dynamicness as your other range of 5-axis, like the G150 that we'll talk about, the G350 and the 550? Is the fundamentals in the build of the machine similar?
Yes.
The base?
So the dynamics of the machine will be high. The accuracy of the machine will be high as well. And the general build quality of the machine is obviously going to be a traditional Grob machine, oversized ball screws, oversized rails, built for the demanding challenges that we'll be faced with.
When they're going to be available?
From March this year.
Okay, so just around
Yeah.
the corner. Right, let's pick up on the G150. So we've seen the G350 this morning with yourself, Paul and Gio. Paul, tell me about the G150.
Well, the G150 it's a new machine to Grob. Obviously, it's there to complement the 350, the 550, and the big brother, the 750. It's the smallest machine in the range, predominantly aimed at sort of more to try and get into the medical market. I think is the main driver for that machine. It's a nice compact footprint machine, but with all the same benefits as the bigger 350, 550, and 750.
So table upside down, machining, swarf fall away.
Exactly
design.
the same fundamentals as the bigger machines, just on a smaller scale.
And would there be then? It's going to cost less than a 350. It's going to, the price tag's going to be lower because of the size of the machine.
It's obviously priced within the range. It's a slightly cheaper machine, but gives you all the quality that you'd expect in the build from a Grob.
And now, is there anything unique about this? Does anybody else do a machine of this size with that tunnel design?
It's the smallest horizontal machine available.
Okay.
So yeah, it's a unique machine to Grob for that particular size, offering the horizontal spindle.
And do you think the fact that other people have tried to adopt a similar method of creation of machine is nothing but really an endorsement for what Grob have done? Maybe this is a question for you, Lewis, over the years.
Yes, obviously we do see more and more machines coming to market with a similar concept to ours, and because it does have many benefits, the other machine tool companies can see those benefits and want to tap into those as well. So.
And the G150, when will that be available? And maybe just quickly go through, and maybe we'll come back to you, Paul, the sort of size, the capacity of the 150 compared to the bigger machines, so people can visualise how big the machine is.
Well, the 150 has a 370mm pallet size. Its rough size is kind of, physical size is about 5 meters by 2 meters floor space. It's available with various spindles, and also you can get various control options on it. It's available with Fanuc, Heidenhain, and Siemens controls.
And one of the things about the 350 we saw at Luff this morning is the fact that I can't remember the tool capacity that you had, but there was quite a few options in adding to that, wasn't there? Even retrofitting. Is that something that's you're capable of doing on this range too?
Yeah, we can add the extended tool magazines to the machines. Yeah.
Okay. Other options that would come with it that would be, really lend themselves to the market that we're probably talking about here in the subcontract arena. High pressure coolant, swarf extraction, filtration, all of those things come with these machines, or are they things that you have to purchase in addition above?
No, it all comes standard with the machine. So standard generally is 38 bar. Obviously, we have options then to step up to 60 or 80 bar pressures. Swarf, again, depending on what material you're using, we can offer slap band or scraper type conveyors. We also have a high chip removal system as well if you're doing a lot of aluminium work. We have extended accuracy packs to make the machine even more accurate than it sort of leaves the factory as standard. So there's various options you can add to the machine, but the standard machine is very highly spec'd as well.
Because we talk a lot about automation, and you can add some of the things you've mentioned earlier in this podcast to this particular range of machines too, can you?
Yeah, it's available with rotary pallet systems, linear pallet systems. So there's no end of possibilities with where you want to take the machine to.
And maybe just quickly talk to us about the differences between those two, the rotary and the linear. What do they look like?
Well, the rotary is obviously a round system that sits on the front of the machine, which obviously you can stack. So you can go to 3 levels, giving you up to 15 pallets on the smaller machines. And obviously that reduces down depending on where you go within the range. Or you've got the linear system, which can feed multiple machines with different pallet works for lights out manufacturing.
It's quite interesting, isn't it, Gio? Because we look at a lot of 5-axis machines, and often manufacturers will start with a small machine and then work their way up to bigger ones, won't they? But what we're seeing here is you've got the bigger machines, and now you're coming down to something that's a lot smaller, maybe a lot faster because it's a lot smaller and a much smaller footprint. It's kind of the other way round, isn't it?
Yeah.
Why is that, out of interest? Is there a rhyme or a reason, or
I think
it could be the sectors that they've been associated with?
I think obviously previously, we've been into the aerospace, maybe oil and gas, but this machine really is targeted at the medical side of things, smaller components, small aerospace parts, etc. So sometimes a 350 or a 550 can be a sledgehammer to crack a nut, where this machine really is a tighter fit for smaller parts.
And also physics. I think the G750 with an 800 pallet size, we go to the next machine up, maybe we go to a 1,000, 1,200 pallet machine. Physics don't allow us to do our concept at that size. So going smaller, we can still keep the benefits of the physics of the horizontal spindle, the upside down machining, with the smaller footprint.
I'd like to kind of congratulate you really on the design of the machines from the G50 and all the way through the range. And it looks to me like you really expanded on this range to really accommodate for all different markets, all different applications. I think your bread and butter was the automotive industry, but you've seen a gap in the market. And for me, I don't understand why the machines that you've currently got in your range don't lend themselves to more application. I think they do quite nicely. We looked at the G50, the G350 today at Love, and that had a lot of torque for a 12k spindle, 52 kilowatt, I believe, Paul.
Yep.
But I suppose that lends itself nicely to the work that he does. He requires more torque. But now you've got different models for a multitude of applications based on the same foundation, and it seems to be a nice recipe that seems to be working very well for you guys.
Yeah, well, obviously, it does what it says on the tin. It's called the universal range, and we're now breaking into new markets. Our recent installations have been in medical. We've been involved with oil and gas. We've been involved with food industry, aerospace. We are trying to break the stigma that Grob are just automotive machines. The universal is there for a reason. It can be universally used across any sector. And obviously you've seen today with a general subcontractor such as Luff, they never really know what they've got coming through the door, but they need a universal flexible machine that they can do those parts on.
I always think it's a mindset thing, isn't it? I look at the inverted table and I think to myself, why wasn't, and maybe someone might correct me in this, but why wasn't one of the first machining centres made with the table up that way so the swarf would fall away? Logic would say to me, where an inventor would have said, well, don't have the spindle coming down, have the table upside down so the swarf can fall away. Yeah, you would have thought, but
it's a very good point. Obviously, Grob Grob were the first ones to do that, and we're very proud of that.
I had a great conversation with Carl Downing at Braith about exactly that, Paul, and it was a really great conversation because, barriers to entry potentially for the Grob are exactly that. It's the fear of the unknown. It's proven to be the best way to do fifth axis machining. You've got swarf evacuation, better rigidity, faster speeds and speeds. But as an end user, some end users get comfortable with what they know, and it's only when they need to kind of get competitive or remain competitive that they kind of look to new technologies and new ways. But I think although it's your USP, is it also a barrier to entry?
Sometimes, probably, yes, it could be. People see the machine as a complex machine. Jason Luff was no different. He's seen what I'm doing now. I'm going up in technology. I'm going up in complexity of the machine. And our stance with that was, you've got us behind you. You've got Grob and the team that we've got behind you. Along with the machine, we sold training. We did training with our application engineers. We got his first part off with our application engineers within the training time. And that was perceived as a lot easier than actually it was. The worry went away fairly quickly once that training was done and the machine was shown. It's not as complex as it first seems, basically.
It's a bit like us walking on our legs and then someone going around the corner walking on their hands. They might be able to go faster than you, but you'd look at them and go, "What are you walking on your hands for?" But it's just because you're used you're used to doing something in a certain way, aren't you? We're running out of time on this, but one of the things I wanted to just maybe ask yourself, Lewis, because you weren't there with us this morning, but what's your expectation for Grob products, including the ones we've spoken about, and your current range to impact on the UK market like you've seen at Luff? I know, times for everybody at the moment within manufacturing are not as good as they maybe were a year ago, but you must still have some target that you believe an inroads you can make with this technology in the UK market, let's say within the next 2 years.
Yeah, I think within the next 2 years, Paul, we see more and more universal machines coming into the UK. It does seem as though the name is getting into the market now. People are more aware of Grob, more aware of the Grob products, and more aware of the Grob benefits that we offer. So within the next 24 months, I would think our sales should continue to rise. And also our workforce probably will do as well, in reflection to the machines that we've got on the floor.
Does that mean that Paul's targets have just gone up?
Correct.
Would you agree with that, Paul? Not the fact your targets have gone up, but what you can achieve here in the coming year.
The possibilities are limitless, to be honest. Everybody that's using a Grob machine is very happy. I see the support that the business offers. From applications and service and support backup. We have a lot of happy customers out there, and we'd sure like some more.
And we don't have many customers out there that have got one Grob machine. So the majority of Grob users in the UK buy the first one. The technology sells itself, they buy the second one, and the service support that we can offer as well backs that up.
Yeah, I even heard you hundreds in one place, which we won't mention the name, but that's yeah.
Yeah, we've got not so far away from our office here, one of our biggest installations, over 120 spindles.
Right, wow, incredible, good stuff. And before we close this podcast off, gents, can you tell us about an event that's happening, maybe yourself, Lewis, at Grob, that people can find out in more detail about some of the products that we've spoken about today?
Yeah, we've got our virtual open house between the 15th and 19th of March, obviously this year, with live seminars, technical specialists live for consultation, and also the actual launch of our 4-axis machine tool range.
Okay, and if someone wanted to register for that, is there a link on your website? Or
just go to the Grob website, there's links all there, or contact us at the office and we can make registration for you guys.
Okay, good stuff. Well, that just about concludes it for today's podcast. I'd like to once again thank you guys for hosting us today, not just here at your headquarters, but actually seeing a Grob machine in action at a very happy customer at Luff Engineering this morning. We've obviously conducted all of our activities safely today and in accordance with the government guidelines. And thanks again for accommodating us. It's been a really good, enjoyable day, and good luck with more of these machine sales going forward, and good luck for always achieving your targets.
Thanks, Paul.
Thanks for joining us on today's podcast.
Cheers, guys.
Cheers,
Take
guys.
care.
Thank you.
Thanks for listening to the MTD podcast. If you found value in this episode, please subscribe and leave a rating and review. Find more episodes on mtdcnc.com.